Hello and welcome to another lesson on soundproofing. Today I'm going to be talking about how you cannot build a soundproof studio right for less than $10,000. I've talked to so many of my clients who have said, oh, I'm just going to do it for under 10 grand. I'm going to do it for $2,000. I'm going to do it for $8,000. I'm going to do it for $5,000. And I always say to them, save your money and don't do it at all. You're probably going to cut corners. You're probably going to make a ton of mistakes. And I just don't think it's worth it. So I'm going to show you in this video why it's really, really hard, if not impossible, to build a professional level soundproof studio for under 10 grand. Before I jump in, if you want to follow along and watch as I use my budget calculator to show you how this works, you can download that at soundproofyourstudio.com/calculator. That's soundproofyourstudio.com/calculator. This calculator will help you plug in your square footage or square meters, and it will show you exactly how much your studio will cost to build it from the ground up like I did, or to build it within an existing structure like your garage or your basement. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this lesson on why you cannot build a soundproof studio for less than $10,000. All right, so here is my new and updated budget calculator. If you guys have downloaded this in the past, it might be worth downloading it again. I've added this section here, for those of you who have seen this before, that shows the cost of if you are just going to be building this in an existing structure. So over here, we'll give you the cost of the building if you didn't have a structure, or if you're building in your backyard, so starting from scratch. And then over here, we'll give you the number if you are building in something like a garage or a basement. So the way this works is I've got a little square meters to feet calculator over here. So if you're building in the metric system, I've made this a little easier. You just put in square meters and it will give you the square feet automatically. And then you can take that over here and put the square meters in. The green stuff, the way this works is the green things you input, everything else just gets spit out. These cost per square foot numbers are based off my own build. So I took the total cost of like the foundation and divided by square feet and tried to give you a rough estimate of what my costs were so that you can figure that out. Labor costs divided by square foot is right here. And you know, it's not perfect, but it is a quick way to start to look at your build. If you haven't done any research on your build, if you haven't looked at any materials and you have no idea how much things are going to cost, this might give you a ballpark. And if you want to take it a step further, you can compare your design to my budget calculator and be like, oh, wait, I didn't account for how much the mini split would cost. Or, man, I didn't even think of the cost of hat channels or drywall or ventilation system. So there's a lot of parts of soundproofing that you may be overlooking that will be costs that you want to include. So let's talk about my thesis here, that it's really hard to soundproof for under $10,000. And to start with, you're going to need a door no matter what. I separated the windows and the doors out because they're individual to each design. So you want to take those out. So every studio is going to have at least one door, and that's going to knock you up to about $1,500 to start with. The doors are expensive. There's no way you can get around that. And to get it soundproof, you're going to have to invest some money in it. There's just no way around it. I'm sorry. And that's even a conservative estimate on the door. Now let's put in so that gets you up to about $2,000 here, you know, with labor for the door as well. And then let's put in some square footage. So I think like around 100 square feet, you're gonna go over. That's about $10,000. So that's a 10 by 10 room. You never want to build in a square, but let's just say it's a 10 by 10 room. If you did like an 8 by 10 room, like a really tiny bedroom, yes, you could do that for under $10,000. But I have talked to very few people that want to build a professional level soundproof studio that is so tiny. So like my studio is about 270 square feet. It's actually more like 275, and that's on the inside there. And you know, we're looking at $46,000 when you account for increase in material costs since 2020. I think a 20% buffer is extremely smart. I know that's a lot, but for any of you who have built anything, hired contractors, you're going to thank yourself for having that buffer so that when you don't go over budget, when you're like, oh, I always was thinking about the extra 20%, you're going to be so much happier. You know, if you're building existing space with a studio about my size here, you're looking at about $20,000, you know, for a basement studio build, $25,000 if you are smart and add in that 20% buffer. So let's just, you know, you can play around with this as much as you want. And you can tell me like, oh, my costs are gonna be way less. And if that's the case, that's awesome. But I'm just trying to be realistic here. You know, if you're building like a 350 square foot space, you're shooting at $60,000 or around $31,000 for something that's already existing in a garage or basement. So this is pretty straightforward. You know, we've got, I took away the foundation if you're building in this. I have the lumber, took away the roofing and the siding of my build, so that's more accurate. I have the paint because you're not painting the outside. I took half the labor because you're not doing all the labor to build it up, and you're getting this more accurate cost here. And so this is still like a DIY budget. For those of you who are thinking of hiring a professional company to do this, like there's companies like Acoustic Fields. Here in Nashville, we have a guy named Niles Rogers who builds tons of home studios, but I would say his starting price is $100,000, and it goes up from there. So, and especially with Acoustic Fields, they're so freaking expensive. You're probably looking at, you know, $250,000 build for a lot of these people. So I'm trying to teach you guys how to do this for a lot less money, but still you have to be realistic. The $10,000 stuff I keep seeing people wanting to do, it's just unreasonable, I think, in my opinion. So that's why I made this video. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Again, to download this calculator, just go to soundproofyourstudio.com/calculator, and you can start to play around with this as well. If you start adding in windows, you know, square footage of windows, let's say you have, I don't know, like a 3 foot by 5 foot window. So I'm gonna just do like 15 square feet. The window cost here, windows are expensive. So you're looking at $5,000, $5,500 for a big, nice observation window like that. Again, this is building it yourself. If that blows your mind, glass is super expensive. Like soundproof glass, meaning tempered or laminate glass, is just really costly compared to float glass, and you don't want to use plexiglass, you don't want to use float glass. Those types of glass don't soundproof as well. And again, you're in that range of DIY mode where you're like pinching pennies, scarcity mindset. I'm just going to do it wrong in hopes of saving money, but you're just wasting money because you're going to get a less than ideal studio. So I'm being a little harsh on you guys because I've just talked to so many of you who are trying to save money for all the wrong reasons. And I hope this helps you out and hopes open your mindset to, hey, in the long run, you're building something that can last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Do it right. Invest the money. If you don't have the money, save up the money. If you can't ever get the money, then do it without soundproofing. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still make great music. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful, guys. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope it maybe opened your mind to different possibilities, hopefully made you think about the idea that when we think on really, really small budgets, if we're just trying to squeeze every penny, nothing really ever comes of that. It's not a good mindset for life, in my personal opinion, and I'm so grateful that I did things right on my studio and I didn't cut a bunch of corners and try to do half the job or think that I could somehow save money and still get the results I wanted. So if you're going to commit to this idea of building a soundproof studio and you want to do it right the first time and you don't want to make any mistakes, I want to let you know that I do have a consulting service. This is not something I usually advertise. It's a program that I only allow a few people that I think are a great fit into it, but allows me to guide you on building your soundproof studio. If you're interested in that, if you think that you are not the type of person that's just going to cut corners and wants to do it 100% themselves and wants to keep these tiny little budgets, then I don't want to work with you. It's not going to be a good fit. But if you think you're the type of person that does want to do it right the first time, reach out to me. You can reach out at soundproofyourstudio.com/consulting. That's soundproofyourstudio.com/consulting. I would love to hear from you if you are the right type of person, and I look forward to seeing you on a call if that's the case. All right, for the rest of you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has helped a little bit. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. This is probably going to be a little controversial. I want to stir the pot a little bit. So if you built studios for less than $10,000, write it in the comments. Tell me how much. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's all good. I love the conversations. All right, I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'm going to continue helping you with learning how to soundproof and acoustically treat your home studios. All right. Peace out, everybody.